Silk 106.9.
Before I introduce you to this guy on screen, by the way, I'm going to ask you to do what you're famous for, okay? So, in your own time, sir, just do what we may recognise you from.
Okay.
Oh my! Obviously, you are the whistling man on all the adverts and off the telly and all films and stuff.
That's it.
How are you? You all right?
I'm good, mate. Thanks. Yeah.
So you have a real name, don't you? You're not just the famous whistling guy, are you?
I'm David Morris from Saddleworth near Oldham. Yeah. So, and went over to America and entered the World Championship of Whistling, which can only be in America, can't it? Really, that. and I won it, and I turned pro, and I've been doing that for the last 17 years now, been all over the world.
So when did you decide, or somebody say to you, actually, you're quite good at whistling, and when did you decide, you know what, I can make a career out of this and become famous a little bit?
Okay. Well, I used to be a cornet player. I mean, in Saddleworth, where I live, it's an area which is steeped in brass bands, you know. A lot of the movie Rostov was filmed around here. And, each little village in Saddleworth has its own brass band, and it's very competitive. And I was a cornet player, and I actually made it to Great Britain champion in my 20s. And then when I was, sort of playing the cornet better and playing more difficult pieces, I tried to whistle them. And after a while, I thought, I can handle this. I actually do things like the triple tonguing polkas, like cornet players play these fancy triple tonguing polkas, like something like this. Something like that, and so after a bit, I thought, I can, I'm not bad at this. And then as the years went by, by the way, I was a closet whistler for about 28 years, and I came out in 2003, and then when I went to mates' houses, for dinner parties, things like that. At the end of the meal, at the cheese and biscuits and coffee time, it was, come on, Dave, give us a bit of Flat the Bumblebee. And things like that. So, and then this sort of group of friends said, you need to do something with that. Don't just let it go to waste. Make a CD. So I thought about it, and I thought, I'll make a CD. I've got lots of brass band mates and who are good players. So I got this band together and a conductor, and I did all the arrangements of the pieces, which I used to play on the cornet. And I launched this CD called Whistling Down the Wind, and it did rather well. So, and then we discovered through, putting in things like the buzzword whistling into Google, this World Championship in America came up. So I thought, I might have a go at that. So I went across and I won it, and turned pro, and then the bookings started coming in because it was a good story. It was on Northwest Tonight, BBC. They featured it, and then I was on Des O'Connor, Des and Mel show, and then the Blue Peter, Philip Schofield on This Morning, things like that. And Chris Evans got hold of me. They liked it, and I was a guest on his show about four times. Yeah, 4 times, yeah. Then he had me on the one show with lovely Alex Jones. She says, "Oh, David, I thought you were fantastic."
Not only can you whistle, you can do impressions of Alex Jones.
So while I was in America after the World Whistling Championship, one of the big network TV stations interviewed me, and a couple of concert promoters saw the broadcast and thought, wouldn't mind booking him for some of our concerts. So when I got home, I had a couple of voicemails. I thought it was some of my mates having a go, having a laugh, but it wasn't. I rang these guys back, and they booked me for the summer proms in the park in Chicago and St. Louis, Missouri, and I've been back 15 times now as a soloist. They like me over there. So, but the thing is with my whistling, it's obviously mic'd up massively. It needs to be mic'd up because it's not one of these where you sort of put your fingers in your mouth and do it very
Can
loud.
you do that one anyway? Because
I can do, but it doesn't sound nice, does it? That?
No, I mean, I tried to do that. I've got a friend who can whistle just by doing this. He just does that.
There's all sorts of different whistlers. I mean, when I went to this competition, there were some really weird techniques, but I'm what's known, I need to just think about this before I say it. I'm what's known as a pucker whistler because it's all about puckering the lips, You need to just be careful when you say that. So I'm a pucker whistler, So I've been back, about 15 times, I think, now to the States. They like it, but when you whistle like I do through the lips, it's you don't do it. It's not very loud, So I'm always at the mercy of the sound engineer in a theatre or whatever.
Do you have to wet your lips to do it then? Have you got what's the technique?
Yeah, a little bit of wet. Yeah, a little bit moist.
And does the Magnum tash not get in the way?
No, I'll keep it trimmed on the top lip. Right. But you don't want any greasy foods like fish and chips or anything like that before.
Oh, does that stop it from working then? Does it greasy food?
It affects the lips. It just likes the feel. Affects the feel. So, but just moist them, yeah, and just a bit moist, and then things like that.
Oh, brilliant!
So I've been to New Zealand twice on tours. Been twice there, and Holland, Spain, Malta.
So just give us what are the top 5 things that we would have heard you off? So you've got the well-known bank advert that you did at the start of the interview.
Well-known bank advert ran for 6 years, a fantastic campaign. 12, I think it was 12 different adverts with different graphics, different voiceovers, but the same. Yeah, great tune. So that was iconic, really. And I did a big advert for the BMW Mini. I don't know whether you remember that one about 6 or 7 years ago. It showed all the mini cars pointing up and falling down like dominoes in a car park. That was the Post Horn Gallop, which is the famous hunting tune. That one. And I did one for San Pellegrino. I did a couple of movie soundtracks. One for a film called The Counsellor, starring Brad Pitt and Cameron Diaz. And then another one, Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. That was a couple of years ago. Did some whistling for that and went down to London and met the famous Benny from ABBA. That was nice. And it takes me around the world, and it takes me. I meet some big hitters.
Well, your lips are famous and they take you all over the place, which is not a lot of things that many men can say, to be honest. Fantastic. So what's next anyway? Have you been booked for anything next? Do we need to listen out on the telly at the moment for any whistling that will go,
I'm in discussion at the moment with Thames TV. They're doing a new series on Saturday night. I think it's in the X Factor slot, the 8 o'clock, the prime one. And it's something to do with talents and unusual. It's not Britain's Got Talent, but it's something to do with that. I think it's something like guess what you do for your job, something like that. And they want me on that, I think. So I'm talking, negotiating on that. So that'll be on sort of end of April, early May, I think, Saturday night. So
I take it that's going to be in the place of BGT, probably, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So have a look out for that. I think it's called Game of Talents. I'm not quite sure, something like that. And you think they guess what you do and all that, and some contestants can win money if they guess the right profession, something like that. So have a look out for that.
So if you, have you got a normal job then? Do you do something else?
That's me. I've been a professional whistler for 17 years now. When I came back from the States, I used to be a sales manager, and decided to go for it because the bookings started coming in for appearances, and I thought, well, I'll give it a go, So I've never looked back. So,
fantastic! This is just amazing. This is absolutely stunning that you can whistle all these tunes. Anyway, do you go around your house whistling? Then I take it because my next.
I never stop really, Darren, because I do a lot of it subconsciously. Just when I'm practicing a certain piece, and I'll be doing it, for hours on end. And when I go down to the post office, I get a few dogs following me. So but I've got a very understanding wife. She puts up with it. Man, she likes it because it's taking her all around the world because she comes with me on the trips. So she can't complain, can she?
No, fantastic. This is all brilliant. You know, I'm not...
My website is davidmorris-whistler.com. I've got 5 CD albums. People can hear samples on the website. They can play the TV adverts, TSB and all that, and the mini and whatever you. Yeah, all good fun.
Oh, fantastic. Well, David Morris, thank you very much for coming on with me today on this video chat. And keep whistling. And can you teach me how to do the bank advert? How do you do that? So,
it's a difficult piece, actually. It's a lot harder than what it sounds. When I got the music for that, it was an intense practice for a couple of days.
I've got the tune in my head. Can I have a go?
Yeah, the basic technique for it's very hard to teach someone to whistle, you know. But the sort of basic technique is obviously you've got to hear the sound before it comes out of your mouth. You've got to hear a certain note. So if I sing the note, ba, I'm hearing that note, ba. So you've got to hear it. And so if you get on a note, establish a nice middle register note. Say, for example, that's about middle register. Now, to go higher up the scale, higher notes, you've got to arch your tongue and raise it up towards the roof of your mouth, because that makes the aperture inside your mouth smaller, and the sort of vibrations get higher, because the wind has to come out your lips at a greater velocity. So, for example, the tongue's right up there in the top now. Now, conversely, to go lower, you sort of drop your jaw. Your tongue sort of is right in its natural position at the bottom of your mouth. Right down there now. So that's the basic technique. Now, the fancy tonguing, I can't teach you to do that. I've just developed that over the years.
Yeah, I've never had a woman say that to me anyway. Fancy tonguing, so I'm probably.
I'm in big demand. So there you go.
Right, let me have a go then. Hang on.
Yeah.
I can whistle, yes, but I've got no tune to it at all. I don't know any of the notes. So.
No, well, keep on practicing, my mate.
Dave Morris, thank you very much for your time anyway, and keep whistling and stay safe.
Yeah. All the best.
Your station, Silk 106.9.